Jeffrey, we're live. Hey, everyone who's attending. This is a special event, and I am so excited. I'm going to let Jeffrey introduce himself. But what I wanted to say is that this is a unique event in it of itself. One is we're at a leap year. Okay, so that's very unique. This doesn't happen every year, as you all know. So there's an extra day, and Jeffrey's gonna help us understand what to do with that and how to make the connection with that in automation. But if you're new, I know we've got quite a few people that have reached out because you saw some level of promotion. I'm Chris L. Davis, the founder of Automation Bridge, where we teach digital marketers how to automate their marketing. And we love to discuss software and strategies that you can use to automate your marketing and sales. And as you all may or may not know, I have been an avid ActiveCampaign user for, it might be a decade. Oh, geez.
We're all getting older. I earned these gray hairs.
Right. So it was a pleasure of mine to be able to connect with a mind as such of Jeffrey's. He's the VP of Brand and Marketing at ActiveCampaign. I'm trying not to go into the whole intro. I want you to be able to introduce yourself. But let me say this, everyone. You're in for a treat because this man's mind, we're talking about a lifetime of knowledge, experience, and acumen in the space of marketing and beyond. He has worn many hats in the past, and it reflects as you hear him talk today about what event is coming up that we should all be aware of, and mark your calendar for this free day of the year to get some really good training on how to best approach increasing the efficiency and giving ourselves back more time. So, Jeffrey, with that being said, give a brief intro of yourself to the audience so they know who's in the room.
Sure. Thank you. I hope to earn that introduction in today's conversation. My name is Jeff Roars. I am the VP of Brand Marketing at ActiveCampaign. Been with the company close to 9 months or so. I have lived quite a life. I have been a DJ. I've been an attorney. I've been a salesperson. I've been an educator. I have been an agency VP and then an agency president and then a head of partners for an email service provider and then a VP of thought leadership and created a content marketing team at ExactTarget. Wrote a book called Audience Marketing in the Age of Subscribers, Fans, and Followers about 10 years ago. We got acquired by Salesforce, did that a couple of years being a song and dance man for them around the globe. Became CMO of Yext. Over the last few years, I've been CMO of a number of different startups and then joined ActiveCampaign. So it's just like I drew it up in college, exactly how I planned it step by step, because that's how careers work. So we are here because one of my colleagues made an offhanded comment that I think she probably regrets because it led to all this. Back in November, my colleague Meg Dedine, who just got married, so she's now Meg Dedine Murphy, said, man, it would be great if we owned a day in B2B like B2C owns, the Black Friday. And I said, that's a really interesting statement. Tell me more. And as we explored it, I opened up my Google Calendar and lo and behold, remembered it was a leap year coming up. And what is a leap year? A leap year is a recognition of two things. One, we are not as modern as we think because our calendars have to get an entirely new day every 4 years so they don't break. If we didn't add the day, everything would be off. And that started in 45 BC, courtesy of Julius Caesar and the Julian calendar. And if you want that history, at our event, Scott Monty does a wonderful video about the history of Leap Day. So that was the first part. The second part is, in our modern life, we often feel out of control with time, like it's beyond our ability to control time. But the fact of the matter is that with the right technology, strategy, and process, we can actually make more time. And the proof of that, Chris, and you know this from having worked with ActiveCampaign and marketing automation for 10 years, marketing automation is sort of a printing press of time. The more you automate, the more time you get back. And so that was our aha moment, that was the light bulb where we said, well, wait a second, what if we own Leap Day? What if we go and put together an event that's going to help people learn how to make more time with technology and strategy and process? And so then I started making some calls. I called Jonathan Gandalf, the founder and the CEO of The Juice, which is a B2B marketing content site that if you are in B2B SaaS, you absolutely should go there, subscribe, fill out a profile. It saves you time because they're only going to send you the content that's relevant to you. And Jonathan and I worked together in a prior life. And I told him this crazy idea, and he said, that is so crazy. I want to be a part of it. And so that put some wind in the sails. So then I called my friend Jay Bear, who I've spoken with, worked with, been a partner with, had him as a customer, I've been a customer of his, all this kind of stuff, and told him the idea. And his new book is called The Time to Win. And he's like, I'm in.
Mm.
And then I thought, well, wait a second, this is interesting. I'll try one more person, Ann Handley, who is the chief content officer of Marketing Profs and someone I really trust when it comes to content and event ideas. And I called Ann and she said, that is very interesting. I would be happy to be a part of it. And she gave me some ideas. And I went that weekend, which I think was like Thanksgiving, maybe right in that Christmas holiday time, and did a bunch of research and discovered Goldcast and thought, wow, this is an amazing site. Kelly Chang, their head of marketing, does all these wonderful demo videos on their site about their product. I was able to self-educate and sell myself without ever interacting with them.
Mm.
And so I approached Goldcast and I said, "Hey, would you come on as a partner? We want to be a customer of yours. So we're gonna work out a contract, but we want to use your platform for this crazy idea." So we had the Juice as a sponsor. We had Jay and Ann as kind of early speakers. We had Goldcast come on as a sponsor and the platform. And then the last piece of that initial puzzle was getting Calendly on board, because whose business is about time more than Calendly?
Yes.
And Hillary over there, who's in charge of partners, came on board. And then I went on this cold calling effort, worked with our partner team. Fast forward, starting 4 p.m. Eastern this Wednesday, the 28th, running 29 hours, we are putting on the ActiveCampaign Leap Day Extravaganza, which is designed to help anybody and everybody who's a marketer, business owner, entrepreneur, salesperson, what have you, learn how to make more time with AI, with content, with e-commerce, with intelligent marketing automation, with sales automation, anything that you can think of in kind of SaaS technology. We've got something to cover it. We've got Rand Fishkin speaking about audience and how to research it appropriately. We have Mike King speaking about SEO. We have John Jantz speaking about fractional CMOs. The list goes on. And we have over 120 speakers, all for free. And you just go to leapday.live to register. And all of that content will run first run starting again 4 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, the 28th, and run all the way until about 8 p.m. Eastern on the 29th. And then it'll be on demand starting March 1st. So we wanted to create a rising tide event because we have heard time and time again in our own universe and in every conversation I had with folks putting this together that marketing teams are being asked to do more with less. They're being asked to work with a smaller team, with a smaller budget, work from profitability instead of living high off of, say, the venture capital investor hog. And in light of that, we wanted to create this event where if everybody locks hands and we share our expertise, we're going to bring our owned audiences to the table, and we're going to create an event that's beneficial for everybody.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Jeff. And one of the things that I don't want to get easily lost is how you brought it. And when I say you, of course, I mean the collective you, from idea to real, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that jump out to me as you're talking is that you leveraged human connections that you had with human beings. You did the footwork and said, hey, let me reach out. It could have started as a autoresponder reply to say, hey, want to jump on a calendar or something like that. But we cannot neglect and undervalue just reaching out. And Jeff, I say this cautiously because I know we're all about automation, efficiency, and getting time. But some things you just have to put time into it, right?
Oh, that is such an astute observation, Chris. And you couldn't be more right. If there is one thing that I will take away from this event, It is that I have been able to connect with folks over my, that I've met over my 27, 28-year career in technology. Many folks that I have not spoken to in quite some time, been able to connect with them meaningfully, been able to enlist them in this crazy idea, learn a little bit about where they are, figure out a good quid pro quo on how we can help each other, and do so in a way that helps other people. That is not something you can automate. That is built from relationships. And one of the great speakers we have is actually a gentleman by the name of Mark Zhao Sanders. He's the founder of a company called Filtered out of the UK. And he has a new book called Time Boxing: The Power of Doing One Thing Well. And in his presentation, and that book, by the way, comes out in the US mid-March, and it's already out, I think, in Europe. Mm. But one of the things he shares in his presentation, because we were talking before we went live, I've just spent many weekends in a row, but this weekend was all about watching and uploading all of the content, because we've done recorded content so that our speakers can participate in the live chats if they want. And in Mark's presentation, he talks about how if there are people in your life that you want to connect with and grow the relationship, you need to time box. You need to sit down and look in the future and put boxes of time and say, this is how I'm going to invest, and actually follow through on it.
Wow.
And so this event, yes, it's all about automation. It's all about how to make more time. But part of the kind of the interesting underlying message of a lot of the keynotes is, in order to make more time, you actually have to invest time on the front end. That could be learning a technology, right? It could be setting up an automation. It could be building an integration. But it also could be having kind of the drip conversations over time with people, opening up yourself and your heart and your time to listen to their challenges and help solve them, and be a friend and be a colleague. All of those things go into greater efficiency as you go through your career and in life. So I think you hit it on the head. Again, very gave me kind of chills, because that is one of the key things that I take away from this experience.
I love it. I love it. We've got a comment on social, and they asked, are the on-demand videos coming at a cost?
No. So just go register at leapday.live right now, and you can participate in as much of the first run as you want. So again, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on the 28th. And it is a global event, so we do have speakers from around the globe. I sent out yesterday a shout out to our Australian speakers. We have some folks from India, folks from Eastern Europe, from Western Europe, from the UK, obviously the States, Canada, Mexico, Peru, just a number of places. But it was important to us to make sure this was all free, because we want to be a rising tide. We want to create something that, whether or not you're a customer of ours, is going to benefit you. And we have some great sponsors, and we do hope that as folks attend, they will take that time and look at each sponsor booth, understand what they offer, and see if it has something for them. And the other cool thing is, a number of our sponsors are offering great freebies or Leap Day specials. We've got Sendoso involved, so they're going to be having some surprise gifts and things maybe along the way. So we've tried to create something that, yes, it has a lot of great content, educational content that's going to help you in business, but also in life, and then sprinkle in some surprises along the way.
Yeah, and I think that's a great segue, Jeff, into the software. What is a conversation about this amazing event, sponsors and speakers, without highlighting some of the software that you'll learn about and why it's important for you to know for the purposes of integrating? I know prior to going live, we talked about Help Scout, and I've got my good friend Sean at Email Prefs, and
they're talking.
There's all types.
Why don't we pull up my screen, and I'll show you a little bit, take folks through who's speaking and kind of what the relevance is. So this is the registration page. Again, leapday.live. Make it super easy for you. You click the big button, and you're going to get registered. If you go down, our sponsors are all listed here. And again, Calendly, Goldcast, and The Juice are our title sponsors, without whom this would not have been possible, because we needed some names, and we needed some folks who were true believers, so we could get momentum on the other conversations. But then you see folks like Help Scout, right? Customer service, Molly, e-commerce payments in
Mm.
EMEA. So they're a European payment processor who integrates with ActiveCampaign so that as your e-commerce transactions are coming through, that data can flow through your automation software, triggering communications and other types of interactions that are going to hopefully help grow the business, increase repeat purchases, encourage sharing, all those types of things. Our own Postmark. So if folks aren't familiar with Postmark, they are a platform for transactional email sending that ActiveCampaign acquired a couple of years ago. And
Real
transactional
quick.
sending is a very different creature than the promotional side. And I see you
Yes.
pointing your finger, so you've got
Yeah.
a story. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, no, I want to add to it. Hey, listen, everyone. The DMARC, SPF, DKIM, all the email settings and servers that will land in spam if you don't set them right. It's all underway, right? Google leading the pack. Postmark, everyone, has a free email deliverability digest. If you use them for, I think it's the DKIM or DMARC, one of those settings, but you can set it up and they will, at no cost, at no cost, send you a weekly report and just let you know how your alignment is with your DKIM and SPF. So
That that team is wonderful. They're just great folks. It's a great product. They'll have a booth with resources that you can check out as well, and you don't have to wait. You can just go to Postmark and the website and check it out.
yes.
Just a few more of these, like Rebrandly came on board. So Rebrandly is a short URL creation tool for branded domains or short URLs. Now you might think, well, I already use Bitly for that. Well, the problem with Bitly is it's once you've locked it, it's locked. And so now you use that Bitly and you promote it in different ways. But let's say something changes. It could be that you were promoting an event and the speaker changes, or the event is done and you still want to get value out of that link being out
Mm.
there. Well, Rebrandly actually allows you to do that. And I'm going to do a little spoiler. They're actually going to give you a free domain registration. So if you do register for this event, hit the Rebrandly booth. The link will be in there and take advantage of that. I have used this for all of the Leap Day Live subdomains that I've promoted because each of these sponsors, I wanted to understand what are they driving. So
Mm.
I'm setting up leapday.live/Mali, leapday.live/Sendoso, right? That allows me to track that. And it gives you a level of intelligence that I have not seen in other branded domain solutions. Then we got our great friends at Sales Message, right? For text messaging and calling, and they're sponsoring our speaker downloads. So a lot of our speakers are going to let you have a resource or perhaps their slides. So they're not only speaking, have a booth, but they're doing that. I already mentioned Sendoso, Thinkific, right? In the
Yeah.
education and content space. They're great folks out in Vancouver is where they're based. And they've got a couple of great sessions. They're going to be talking about education as a tool to grow. And then TAC is really interesting. These are a couple of guys who have been around the automation space for a while, and they're really envisioning people first go to market strategies.
Mm.
And they're going to be presenting about that. And I just find that concept so resonant because going back to our conversation, Chris, we can't lose touch with the people part of this business in an era of AI. And that's part of where I think our challenge is going to be. If AI is going to make everybody more efficient, but if everybody uses it in the same way to generate content, we're going to have a
Mm.
sameness. And so, how do you stand out? It's you stand out on the quality of your people and the ability to serve. And this is
Yes.
why Jay Baer's opening keynote is so important, the time to serve. He really talks about the notion of time being a component of your brand and a component of how your brand is perceived. So you see that we've got a lot of those integrated folks, but they're each approaching this make more time idea from a different angle. And that's what gets me really excited.
Yeah,
One last
I'll
plug. Let me
jump
give
in
you
there
one more plug,
real
Chris,
quick.
okay?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. You do your plug.
All right, I just want to highlight this one because I bet a lot of your viewers have not heard of them. Help Bank.
Mm.
Help Bank is really interesting. It is a peer-to-peer entrepreneur helping network. So think of it as a combination of LinkedIn and Reddit. And basically, if you're an entrepreneur, you just go and you join for free. And now you can pose questions and answer questions from a community of over 100,000 global entrepreneurs.
Wow.
And it was created by a gentleman by the name of Simon Squibb, who found himself homeless at the age of 15, living in a stairwell, went on to become a multimillionaire, creating an agency, selling it for millions, and then giving back. And what he did, Chris, and this is the craziest story, he bought a stairwell in the London area for £25,000. A stairwell. And he put a Ring doorbell on it. And it's now the Help Bank Entrepreneurial Stairwell. And you come and you push the
Wow.
doorbell and you record what your dream is of entrepreneurship. And then Simon has a very robust social media following. He will go out with camera crews, selecting some of these folks to help them make their entrepreneurial dream a reality. And so one of our sessions is Simon doing that with one of the folks he helped. And it's so powerful when you see it, and when you put it on paper, right? It's like crazy. Hey, let's have a 29-hour event on Leap Day. That's crazy. Well, hey, let's put a doorbell on a stairwell and help entrepreneurs, right? Ridiculous. Right? If
Wow.
AI spit that out, you would say, oh, this AI is corrupt.
Yeah, yeah,
But they
right.
made it happen on the power of their humanity and their understanding of how entrepreneurship works and how connecting with customers works.
Wow. I have to, you sold me on Help Bank. I'm gonna check them out. They're one of the names I didn't recognize, and I'm so glad you took the time to mention it. But I just want to add just another layer of color and detail to some of these sponsors that you've mentioned. If anybody has attended one of my sessions that I did back when I was at an active campaign doing the study halls, I sung the praises of sales message. Chris Brisson is one of the more seasoned marketers. He's someone that I know personally takes the time to ensure that the integrations are quality. And because he's a marketer, the integration usually passes all the information that marketers would want and need. So a lot of people look for SMS solutions, and they're not even aware that sales message does that, but it also creates like a help desk where all of the text messages don't even have to come to you personally. Your team can respond. People don't even know this stuff is possible, Jeff.
Yeah. Well, and that's been so cool for me because I've gotten to know people like Chris and Grace on his team
Hmm.
and what their solution can do. And being the person who's kind of fielding and uploading all of the content, I've already earmarked several sessions that I'm going to attend
Yes.
because I'm like, I got to go watch this again and take notes. Like let me see if I can find him here. Let me think. Palash. So Palash Soni is the CEO of Goldcast, one of our title sponsors.
Okay.
And Palash does a session about their new content lab, which allows you to slice and dice content for reuse in a variety of different ways
Yes.
and to create promotions and things like that very, very easily. This is one I'm going to go back and watch because it's tremendous. And as a customer of theirs, not just bringing them on board as a sponsor, it's something that I'm probably today, as we're recording this, going to go and try and use and kick the tires on. And again, we have over 120 speakers. You go through here, it's a murderer's row of folks, just really good folks that are doing tremendous work around automation, strategy, et cetera. We've got some folks who are a little bit different and off the beaten path, talking about it from the point of career or other things. And then once you've registered, what I encourage you to do is go to the agenda on the registration page and literally go through event by event, click the little calendar to add it to your calendar.
Mm.
Because probably nobody except for myself is going to be crazy enough to stay up for all 29 hours, but I kind of have to make sure the train stays on the tracks. But you want to remind yourself of the sessions that are most important to you. So when you click on that, you can add it to Google, you can add it to your Apple Calendar, your Outlook, or download the ICS. And you will see it is just session after session of real value. And each hour has got a theme. So the
Mm.
second hour is make more time for partnerships. And this event is a perfect demonstration, Chris, of partnerships. Your conversation about sales message, a perfect example. Integration is partnership, right? And in an era where paid media is reaching fewer people, it's costing more, there's greater competition, you have degradation of social media reach. you are going to have to link arms like we are and work with partners to get in front of those folks who need your products and services. And then we're also taking a look at it from the standpoint of fractional CMOs. This is a real huge trend.
Mm.
And John Jantz from Duct Tape Marketing, Peter Caputa from DataBox, we worked together, did some research, and we're presenting a little bit of those findings. And then we've got Chris, the CEO of Sendoso, speaking in that partnership hour. So again, prep for this event. If this excites you, spend the half hour, go through the sessions, add the ones that are of value to you. And again, to the person who commented, you can come back and watch these on demand through March. So if you miss them, no sweat, just come on back.
Yeah, and I would say this, um, there's probably quite a few AppSumolings listening here. Did you hear that Jeff did say sponsors will be having giveaways? So I know we all love software giveaways, and in fact, you mentioned Rebrandly. Hey, everyone, I've been using Rebrandly for years. I figured out what you mentioned, Jeff, a while after Bitly. Bitly was just the standard, and no knock against Bitly. It just Rebrandly fit my needs better, and I've had no issues. You're able to create branded URLs, map your subdomains, get analytics tracking. Bonus, I'm going nerdy, everyone. I even have it integrated with my Airtable database that if there's a link that I want to shorten, I just click a link in Airtable, check a box, and it goes out with some magic via Zapier or Make, one of those platforms, and just puts the shortened URL politely right
Yep.
in the next Airtable row for me. So it integrates so well. And that's one of the things that I really want you all to understand is that you want to be aware of softwares that integrate with the CRM software that you're using. You want to take the time and understand that.
And Chris, I think it's important for folks to recognize, hey, if you're not an ActiveCampaign customer, if you're not a sales message customer, whatever, this is meant to still have a lot of value for you.
Yes.
So you can take what you learn in one of our sessions, because our folks are presenting a lot of different marketing automation and CRM and other types of content, but you can apply it in your world. Of course, we're doing this in part because we want you as a customer, right? But I believe that this is a time where we need to kind of help each other.
Yeah.
And this is something that, because Leap Day is such an oddity, it only comes around every 4 years. Because believe me, I don't think I want to work every weekend, morning and night like I have been every year around this time. But the end message is going to be one of tremendous value in helping each other. And I look forward to feedback from folks, right? We literally hatched this idea in late November, did not put pen to paper to actually commit to it really until right after Christmas. So you're looking at an event put together in 2 months, 29 hours, 25 sponsors or more, over 120 speakers. And that means highly, highly collaborative.
Mm.
And a lot of folks putting time and effort into it, not just within our ActiveCampaign team, but also our partners, our sponsors, our speakers.
Yeah, and speaking of which, your partners and speakers, we've talked a bit about software and founders and everything, but looking at the lineup, let me go back. Looking at the
Yeah.
lineup here, you have some familiar faces for me. Those familiar with Automation Bridge know we love Kay, know we love
Oh yeah,
Yvonne.
Kay Pesey. So
Oh yeah.
here's my dirty little secret. I'm gonna spill it on Kay. So Kay's presenting with Melissa Love. They've got 4 sessions on how to use automation to make more money, to be more profitable. I am the first person to point out to Kay and Melissa that they need to brand something PC and Love, because that's their last names. So I said
Oh
PC Love and
yes.
Happiness should be the name of these sessions.
Yes,
And
yes.
I'm proud to say that I was the first to come up with that. They need to have a buddy cop movie together, but they're in the UK. Good friends. Melissa's actually the one that introduced ActiveCampaign 2K. So there
Mm.
are just these fun stories that we've got involved. And you're right. Here's another one. Johan Burby is a customer of ours who's in Estonia and France, and he's a bassist, and he uses our product to help educate folks and sell his training and other types of courses, and is so charming. And he is going to be talking about how to be more productive by thinking like a musician.
Wow.
So it's a different angle on this,
Yeah.
right? Not
Yeah.
everything is about the technology. It's
Yeah.
sometimes about you as a person and how do you think about making more time in your life. Because one of the great promises, again, of automation, marketing automation especially, is it should be saving you time. And why do we want to save time? Because we want to go spend our time however we want. And many of us want to spend more time with family and friends. Some of us want to invest more in the strategic planning of our business. Some might have employees and want to invest in their growth. It's your choice. But the wave of automation is all about reclaiming time that was arduous and putting it into higher value applications. And that's where this gets really fun. And there's so many nuances to these speakers. So I'm glad you saw Kay on there. I could keep going and tell you story after story because these folks are great.
Yeah, and when you said that, Jeff, it I think this is a good reminder for everyone. It's something I often tell myself when I go to an event in person, and that is you always want to have something that you're trying to learn. Be intentional with a
Mhm.
connection, a specific subject matter. But with you talking about Johan, I think I want to add to it. Come with an open mind, everyone. I think that there's a lot of times in our prescriptive approach, we can say, "Hey, I need to learn this thing from this person." And that's fine to have a plan. But there are times where there are things that are tangential to what you want to learn, things that are totally unrelated. And you will be surprised at how well they work to turn on a light bulb in a room you didn't even know you needed to be illuminated.
So I'm glad you said that because I could not agree more. It is the serendipity of living life. And part of the problem we have in today's polarized society, one in which we live in our own little social media circles and our digital worlds, is we don't cross pollinate enough. We don't have the opportunity to meet folks necessarily outside of our social circle or our political mindset. And one of the sessions we actually have is making time with diversity.
Mm,
And that is with our own Anthony Papini, who runs our diversity, equity, inclusion efforts, and Dr. Kim Everett. And I was the one who came up with the idea for this because I'm like, you know what? We're a global company. And as I'm putting this together, it is getting better and better the more people we have from more places, more backgrounds, more genders, more ethnicities, all of that. And as a global software company, it allows you to speak and connect with people in faster ways. And there
mhm,
comes the efficiency. And so I totally agree with you on just attend some things you wouldn't attend. Not everything is going to be for you. No offense. Like, watch what you want.
mhm,
But there are some really interesting lessons in here. Like, if you bring up the screen again, I want to share one other that hit my radar, and that's Arthur Butler.
mhm,
Arthur is the founder and CEO of 10,000 Hours. He's actually an award winning music producer, but he did not become a Billboard charting music producer until very late in life, in his late 30s, maybe even early 40s. And his story is lessons of a late bloomer. And he's talking
mm,
about that personal experience. So the last hour of our program is Make More Time for Life. And it's
mm.
about that kind of reflection. So I encourage you go through, see the speakers that are interested. And if you are suffering for time, one of the things you can do is you can just go up to your browser, use the find function in your browser, and it'll bring up a little search bar. And then I can type in, let's say I'm interested in e-commerce. Let me see if my keyboard will wake up here. I'm interested in e-commerce, and I hit return, and now it's going to jump me down to each instance of e-commerce.
Yeah.
So it's a fast way to navigate to the must-have topics for you. But for those serendipitous ones, scroll the whole thing.
Absolutely. And Jeff, I can't thank you enough for taking the time. Listen, everyone, when Jeff reached out and told me what was happening, it was no question, especially after I met him. I said, "Oh my goodness, this man is a wealth of knowledge. He's a natural connector, and it's like he gives first."
Well,
So,
and we have to thank
yeah,
Giovanna Lucic, for connecting us, who's one of our
yes,
great cab members and partners and customers down in Australia. So proof of the
absolutely.
global connections and just those serendipitous moments where somebody introduces you.
This is it. And Yvonne is a longtime student, mentee, and friend. It's because of Active Campaign we were actually able to meet in person in Chicago. Absolutely amazing. And I just, the more I learn, because we're always students, Jeff. We're always students. At least the wise ones are, right? Wise ones are always students.
Absolutely.
The more I learn, the more I grow, and the more results I achieve. The thing that becomes more and more important, it's not the software. It really is the human connections. And
Yeah.
here, though it's not in person, I can tell you all the human part that has been put into this. You will feel it. This was not just a, hey, want to come here? Let me record something. Hey, you come over here. No, this was very thoughtful. And I want to thank you for that, Jeff, because I can feel it. I've experienced it firsthand, and I'm looking forward to it. One recommendation, everyone, in your day, there's two types of modes that there's probably terms for this that I'm butchering, but one where you really need to focus and you need silence or you have to think. But then there's another mode where you're just kind of getting stuff done. For me, that's like designing in Canva, building out an automation, something like that. Usually have music on in the background, or sometimes I have sports on in the background. Why not just hit play on the leap day? Why not
All
just
right.
hit play?
I don't know if you did this intentionally, but you got to bring up my screen because I got a DJ segue for you. As a former DJ, the other thing I did is I am insane and I put together an 8-hour leap day mixtape of songs about time and days and clocks. So up until 4 p.m. on Wednesday, hit play on this if you need some music. And I assure you, you will get a giant kick out of it. I did not know how many songs were about leap day, let alone how many awesome songs are out there about time.
Yeah.
So as you will see, I'm not kidding. It is 8 hours. And thanks to Giovanna, we added 4 seasons in one day by Crowded House, Australian band, which I love that song and I biffed. I didn't have it on my original mixtape. So again, this is out on
Beautiful.
Spotify. Just search for Father Times Leap Day 2024 mixtape and hit play.
Again, thank you for the thoughtfulness. Jeff, as we close, any final words that you would like to leave with our listeners today, our viewers?
I just want to thank you for the time and the opportunity to promote this. As I said, we want it to be a rising tide that helps everybody, regardless of whose customer you are, what your role is.
Yeah.
We think there's going to be something of benefit for you, and ultimately, please share it. This is a free event. We've got as much room as we need. It's virtual. Goldcast has huge capacity, so I want to fill the room as much as possible. Encourage you to fill out your if you do register your profile, you have an opportunity to interact with other attendees. Some of the speakers, as I said, are going to be in their sessions talking with folks. Many of our sponsors are going to man their virtual booths, answer your questions. Some of them are giving away percentage off of software or little freebies. So there really is something for everybody. But the biggest thing right now as we stand here on Monday the 26th is share it. Share it with marketing organizations, marketing peers, sales peers, entrepreneurial peers. I thank you very much for doing that, and Chris giving me this opportunity.
Yes, thank you as well, Jeff, for taking the time to do so. Jeff said, share, everyone. If you're watching this live or the replay, just do me one favor. Excuse me. All I want you to do is click the share button. Bonus if you want to add a little narration to it and your own little comment and caption, but just hit share. You never know what type of information or what piece of information will move the needle, not just for you, but for someone else. So I have to get out of my shell at times because I'll see content, Jeff, online. I'm like, oh, I know that. It's not about me. If it's good content and I just hit this share button because I'm connected with so many people, that may be a missing piece to their puzzle of the day. Sometimes it's the missing piece for their puzzle in their business. So you just never know. Be willing to be a helping aid beyond what you can ever comprehend and understand, and know that level of sharing and giving goes further than you would ever imagine. So Jeff, thank you so much, man. I greatly appreciate it. I'll be there, everyone. I will be there. Not the whole 28.
I got one. I got one.
I told 28, but I will be there. There's some speakers that I really want to hear and some people that I really want to support. So again, Jeff, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
All right, guys. See you guys online.